Hello, new moon in Libra. My friend, this is our Sidereal Astrology insights for our new moon in Libra. I am so blessed and honored to be with you here today, my friend. As a matter of fact, I haven't been able to put out any videos or podcasts as I was under the weather. As you can tell, still my voice is not 100%. It's there, but it's still quite weak. So we are going to talk about this new moon in Libra in Sidereal Astrology in this video. So stay tuned to get some insights for that. Plus, at the end, I'll share with you our guide that is going to help you walk through a beautiful new moon ritual, as well as some questions that you can explore based on this energy. So with that, my friend, welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic, where we blend strategy and soul work to help healers, coaches, and conscious leaders build soul-aligned lives and businesses that fully support their soul's mission. So if we have not met, I am Danny Simonis, the creator of the Inner Alchemy Method, which is a 5-stage journey to soul-led sovereignty. This is where deep healing meets embodied leadership. Now, I love to guide high-achieving, introverted, spiritual women to reclaim their power, embody their truth, and lead from within. So, my friend, these videos here are to help you navigate the inner world and how that reflects in your outer world. We are always looking at what are we doing, what is going on within ourselves, and how that reflects out into the outer world, as well as how is the outer world impacting our inner world. So let's dive in with our new moon in Libra. So our new moon in Libra takes place on October 24th. This is at 7:24 a.m. Central Time, so adjust according to your time zone. But we've got a couple of things that are going on here. So let me zero it back to just the new moon. And we can see that the new moon is making a square over here to Jupiter, a square over here to Pluto, and then this opposition to Chiron. So remember, when we're talking about a square, there's a little bit of tension here. When we're talking about an opposition, we are on opposite ways of, the way I like to look at it is opposite ways of approaching the same goal. So we both want the same thing, but we are going about it in different ways. And so we have different ideas and thoughts about something. And then we have that square as well. So let's take a look at this in a little bit more, kind of some of the themes that I'm seeing here, which is some chaos, definitely, right? Some chaos, because we do have these two squares with Jupiter and Pluto. And as a reminder, Jupiter did step into Cancer, and it's going to be there for just a bit, right, before we go retrograde, and it goes back into into Gemini. So with this new moon, we've got really, again, I think I say this in every video, and I'm always like, oh, transformational energy. We are in that energy of transformation. I mean, we've got Chiron and we've got Pluto. Pluto is the definition of transformation, and Chiron are those wounds that are ready to be seen. And in this particular case, this opposition here is like, those are coming forward for us to use as wisdom. And so I want you to think about that as you're navigating this new moon. I want you to think about how you are using the wisdom of those wounds, right? We're coming from the place of wisdom. What were they here to teach us? Like, I have 4 steps that I like to take my clients through. And it's what I've developed over 12 years now, working in this space of helping people move through healing. And it is 4 stages. Number 1 is you've got to be aware that there's a problem, right? That's the first step. You have to be aware. I can't tell you, you have to be aware that there is something, right? You have to feel that and understand that. Secondly is understanding. And this is what it is here, is the understanding of, what is this? Why is this? Why do I believe this? Why did I take this on? Why did I allow this? Like, all of those questions here is in that understanding. And then once we have that understanding, we can move to step 3, which is the idea of forgiveness. Not only forgiving others, which I think is a huge, huge part of it, but there's a big part of it that is healing and forgiving ourselves. Forgiving ourselves for whatever it was that happened, whatever we made it believe, whatever we took on because of it, right? And then the 4th stage is finally setting that plan of action for how are we now going to move forward? How are we moving forward with whatever it is, whether it's in a relationship with a family member or a partner or a child or a friendship or a business relationship, right? And I'm saying relationships because this is Libra season. Libra season is all about that relational energy, what we are in relation with and relation to. So there's an opportunity here for us to have some really deep healing and expanding our energy in relationships, with business, and in our lives. So some of the things that I want to kind of point out here, and I'll talk about the top 3, and then we'll talk about some others. The first one, let's talk about this opposition with Chiron. So this opposition with Chiron here is, as I mentioned, it is getting the wisdom, right? So it is here always illuminating or bringing light to our wounds around relationship, self-worth, and in our business partnerships. So whether you've been in collaborations that have succeeded and been fantastic, or you've been in collaborations that have failed, right? Collaborations that have maybe you've got burned, right? So this energy around that. Now, this has become, or we can allow this to become, let me say that differently. We can allow this to become healing wisdom. We can allow this to become wisdom that incites us, right? And so this aspect here is inviting us with this new moon to embrace how our own personal healing journey has equipped us to guide others, to help bring life to our new offerings, our new services, maybe a new business, right? Or within the niches that we choose with our own clients, and even in the spaces that we choose to step into. So this is an opportunity to allow that wisdom to come forward so that you can shift it, right? And see how you can move forward with it. So I really see this as such a beautiful opportunity for us to work on some of those relationship energy, right, that we have with things. The second one, which is the square over here to Jupiter, and that is expansion, but not just expansion in this really like, oh, beautiful, I'm growing and I'm expanding into my next version, but understanding that there is going to be some challenge, there is going to be some pushback, but yet I am here because that tension between what you're visioning, what you're desiring, what you're wanting, and your current reality may not be the same, right? How many times have we, we're like, I want this thing, but I look at my bank account, right? Where I'm like, I want to take this trip, or I want to buy this thing, but I look at my banking account, I'm like, well, bank account doesn't say that, right? Or I'm like, I'm a millionaire and I'm ready to step into my $1 million era, or whatever that is. But yet I look at my bank account and I'm like, yeah, that's not $1 million, right? So it's that this idea of there's challenges. We're not quite there, and we're taking these two opposing ideas right now, and we're looking like, how can we push beyond our comfort zone? How can I still feel like a millionaire, even though my bank account does not reflect that? How can I do that, right? How can I allow myself to believe that? My love and I had this conversation, as we do in the car all the time. And we're talking about how him and I both have these beliefs that we have grown up with, that were around how success, how the things that we desire, the things that we want, you have to work hard for them. Do you have this belief too? You have to work hard for the things that you want. You have to work really hard. And there are people in our lives that have been able to achieve the things that they desire. And from our perspective, it seems easy. It seems as if they have this belief that it is just easy, and they live in this realm of it just comes. I expect it's going to come, and it comes, right? It just happens. And we're like, how can we, now from our point of view, right? This is our point of view, but from our perspective, it seems like these people have, people that we're kind of referring to, which other family members, right? Where they seem to be dependent, right? Their ease is because there is a dependency on something or someone else. Where we're like, I don't want, like, my belief is I don't want to have to depend on other people, right? I don't want to have to depend on somebody else to manifest my desire, right? To manifest my thing. Maybe that's wrong thinking, but that's where I'm at right now, right? On my journey. And so we were like, okay, how do we have that sense of ease that these people that we admire in many ways, that just have it, this ease about it, and yet not have to do the struggle, and yet be able to not have to depend on that coming from somebody else, right? That we're still able to cultivate it ourselves. And it was such a really great thing for us to explore together, which really brings this idea of the square to Jupiter into play here. So we might be able to manifest the thing that we want. We might be able to do the things that we want because we've moved on, right? So some things that I see happen sometimes is that we outgrow relationships, we outgrow partnerships, we outgrow collaborations and connections, but because they've been there, because they're great people, because the relationship has just been, it's been something, it's not hurting me, right? That we stay there. And we stay in that relationship, or we stay acting in the way that we've always acted, which then is in many ways shrinking ourselves because we have grown. And so there's this right, again, this tension of how do I move past that? How do I allow for that next relationship to come in and still honor this other relationship? The other idea might be boundaries, right? Serving a larger audience, your capacity to serve a bigger audience. Maybe you're wanting to have a bigger reach in what you're doing. Well, how do you, right? Are you ready for that capacity? And sometimes when we're stepping into the larger capacities, right, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be things that are going to come up because there are old belief systems, whether that's in relationships that we're holding on to, that are keeping us from not expanding, right? Or there's our own feelings of unworthiness or unready, like I'm not ready to do that next thing, or I haven't perfected it yet, right? And so there's those mindset challenges that might also get in the way. There's karma, right? Karma that could be getting in our way as well. So there's these challenges that Jupiter is bringing, like, hey, I got you. Like, let's go through this together. Jupiter is so optimistic, and it's like, I'm here. So it's got that you've got the sun and the moon and Jupiter saying, like, hey, like, I know it's going to be uncomfortable. I know that, and yet we can do it. Okay. Last one here is with that square to Pluto. So the square over here to Pluto, again, creating some tension, but with Pluto, we're looking at, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. At Pluto, we're looking at transformation, right? We're looking at that transformational energy. So I'm going to show you where I'm looking at, and we'll talk a little bit about Pluto here. Okay, so, and also I'll state it here, because I forgot to state it at the beginning of the episode here, is that this video is on YouTube and on the Cosmic Mystic podcast. So if you just want to listen to this and hear my scratchy voice right now, my 1-800 voice, right? If you want to listen to that, then you can listen to it on the Cosmic Mystic podcast. If you want to see the charts and you want to see me, then you can listen to this or watch this on the YouTube channel. Same name, the Cosmic Mystic. You'll have links for both in both areas, so you can watch it wherever whichever way you prefer to. Okay, so here is that square over here to Pluto from this new moon. So this aspect, this is demanding us to examine unhealthy power dynamics in our relationships, in our business. So where are there unhealthy power dynamics in some of our relationships? Now, there's a lot of power dynamic plays that we have that even those of us that have been doing the work, even those of us that, are quote unquote conscious or self-aware, we all, right, have these, and we all can, even people that I look up to and respect, I've heard them say over and over, and myself as well, is like, I fell into the trap, right? I know better, but I fell into the trap, and it happened. But it's how fast we move through that and how we allow ourselves to work through that is key. So this one is those power dynamics. So where might you have some power dynamics that are unhealthy in relationships? So this might look like manipulation, right? Using a title or using a position to over dominate somebody. Or maybe you don't see the person as your equal. And this happens a lot in the coaching space. So if you are healer, coach, guide of some sort, I see this a lot to where we see the person as broken, right? So our client, we might see them as broken. And so we're in that power position of having to help bring them to their wholeness, right? Instead, when we're looking at a healthy dynamic here in a relationship, is we see them as whole and complete, right? My client is whole and complete. One of the things that I'm doing is simply helping them, guiding them to identify within themselves where they might not feel whole or complete, right? But I see them, my viewpoint is they are whole and complete. And I'm just simply guiding them into whatever is there for them, right? I am not somebody who knows it all, who has everything. I have some knowledge, right? I've learned some things, but I see my clients as whole and complete. They are completely whole, and that it shifts in the coaching dynamic. And I whether I have somebody who differs in opinion from me than the way that I choose to live my life versus the way they do, whether it's in relationships or politics, like work, in my spiritual practices, right? Whatever that might be, I still see that person as a whole and complete person, regardless of what their belief systems might be, whatever it is that they believe. I still see that as a whole. I'm not better than that person because I have this knowledge or have this viewpoint, right? To me, we are all, right? We are all equal in that sense. So where might you have some of that? Maybe with your clients, maybe with people that you are collaborating with, right? Maybe you're seeing yourself as better than them, right? Something I did in my past collaborations and practices. I did the opposite, right? So there's collaborations and partnerships where I was like, oh, I know better, right? Oh, I know more than them, right? And then there were partnerships and collaborations that was the flip, where I was like, oh no, they know more than me, and I'm just gonna like trot along, which was not a healthy collaboration because there were power plays happening, right? And so it didn't feel good in either of the situations, whether I was in the place of quote unquote power, what I thought was power, and the flip side where I thought that person, right, had power, and that completely flipped me. And I had to really look at like, wow, I didn't, where am I not seeing that within myself, that I am powerful or equal to this person, and where is this person that I was seeing as less than me, right, not as powerful as me, what are they doing? What are they mirroring for me that I am actually lacking in myself, right? So again, this is where this dynamics and power dynamics in relationships play, and this is an opportunity. Pluto's giving us that opportunity to be like, here you go, right, here you go, and actually allowing us to reclaim our power. My friend, reclaim your power in your relationships. Like I feel like this is something that I talk about all the time with my clients, is like relationships. Like we are constantly giving our power away to things, and to things that we are in relation with, whether that is a person or thing. And so we always want to make sure that we are standing in our power. We are reclaiming our power. We're staying in our power. All right, a couple of other things that I want to talk about that is under this energy. So as you're either setting a new moon intention, or just allowing yourself to see what this energy wants to bring forward for you, right? Because this doesn't rule over us. This doesn't dominate what we do. This informs us, right? Outer reality and how that reflects inward. That's what we're doing here. So Libra tends to be that harmony, that balance, right? But these squares are suggesting that there is some disruption that needs to happen in imbalances, right? So there may be some, I'm not going to use the word difficult, instead I'm going to use the word important conversations that you might need to have. You might have some new renegotiations that you might want to do, whether that is renegotiations with your own belief systems and agreements that you've made, contracts you've made with yourself, or agreements and contracts you've made with other people. There might be relationships that are ready to come to an end because they're not supporting you, or they're great relationships, but they're actually not helping you elevate, right? They're actually clogging your energy in some way and not helping you elevate as you're wanting to. Another one is justice and fairness, right? Libra is so known for the justice and the fairness in things. Libra just wants things to be fair, right? This and that, like they both are right. And like, I don't want to choose, a friend of mine, we had a murder mystery party that we love to have every single year. And, at the end, it was like, who played the best, who played their character the best. And she was like, everyone, right? Very Libra energy that, I don't want to choose between people. Like, everyone was great. Yes, everyone was great. And there were people that, that did an amazing job that we want to celebrate. And so there's that energy of like, I don't want to choose. It's all, everybody was good, right? But here's the thing, my friend, is we want to have equitable exchanges. We want to have sacred reciprocity. And so with that, it might mean, as I'm evaluating this for myself, raising my prices, right, to match the value, the boundaries, and the things that where maybe I might be overgiving, right, in some places, and where I need to balance that out because it doesn't feel equal, right? The exchange doesn't feel equal any longer, and so it's like, oh, it's time to raise my prices so that the people that are truly here to work with me and get the transformation that they're ready to receive, there's people who are ready to do that, and I want to find those people, right? And so there might be some equity exchanges that need to happen, right? There might be some changes that need to happen. So that's for you too, right? Looking at that for yourself, like, is that within your pricing? Is that within your boundaries? Is that in the overgiving or maybe not receiving? And then the final one is partnerships. So there is some challenging aspects, as we saw with this particular new moon, but there is a really beautiful energy for existing partnerships, or even attracting new partnerships, new relationships into your life. And when I say that, I'm talking in business as far as joint ventures, collaborations, or a partner in business, right? As well as in your personal life. And so there's an opportunity here for us to renegotiate those, relook at those, refine those, or call in new ones that are actually going to help us expand our mission, expand what it is that we're wanting to do, so we can open that up for ourselves, right? So something that I do want you to consider, my friend, is as we're moving through this new moon energy, is what are some of the relationships, what are some of the imbalances that are in your life that are ready to be transformed, that are ready to have some new energy with them. With that, as I mentioned at the beginning, there is our October shadow work lunar journal. Inside that lunar journal, there is a specific dedicated week to this new moon. So it's week 3. And in week 3, it talks about the new moon energy that we just shared. It also has some journal prompts around integrating those wounds that might be coming up with this new moon. It also has a somatic practice for you to do to identify It's called body mapping, and looking at where how certain relationships feel in the body, and getting that, because sometimes like we think like, oh yeah, but this is a good relationship, but our body immediately, right, might start to tense, or we might start to feel something in our stomach, or maybe we feel something in our back, or it just starts to feel really heavy. And that is all information, my friend. That is awareness that something here, there's something here in this relationship. I'm not going to say good or bad, but there's something here, right? Something for you to explore. And then the final thing in there is a new moon ritual in there that has some cord cutting in there, as well as calling in new relationships. So it's such like, I was reviewing the pages as I was getting ready to record this, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, there's nothing else I really need to do here. Like, it's great. So I even our Sacred CEO members and Horizon Align members, like, I gave this to them, like, hey, this is something you should do, right? Nothing I need to do more than simply do this. All right, my friend, this wraps up this video on our new moon in Libra in Sidereal Astrology that takes place on October 21st at 7:24 a.m. Central Time. With that, my friend, have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. Stay tuned. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast. There's going to be some changes that have come out since I've been sick and haven't been able to create content the past few weeks that are shifting things for me. And I'm so excited for it, and I can't wait to share it all with you. But this episode has come to a close, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember to keep shining your unique light.